In January 2013, a 21-year-old Canadian student named Elisa Lam traveled alone down the West Coast to Los Angeles. She checked into the Cecil Hotel, a budget-friendly destination situated squarely in the middle of Skid Row, the largest homeless encampment in downtown Los Angeles. Elisa contacted her parents in Vancouver daily until January 31st, her scheduled checkout date. On that day, all communication abruptly stopped. LAPD officers and tracking dogs searched the hotel property but found no trace of her, eventually leading investigators to ask the public for help. The sudden release of a single piece of security footage turned this local search into a global fixation. 2 weeks after Elisa vanished, the police published 2.5 minutes of CCTV footage from an elevator inside the Cecil. It has since been viewed nearly 30 million times. The video shows Elisa pressing an entire column of buttons at once, but the elevator doors refuse to close. She steps into the hallway, looks around, and retreats back into the corner with her hands clasped in front of her, an anxious fig leaf posture. Later, she steps back out and makes slow, deliberate gestures with her hands, as if communicating with someone just out of frame. To millions of online sleuths, these physical movements looked like a paranormal ritual, or an attempt to hide from a stalker, leading many to believe the video had been edited to cover up a crime. In mid-February, hotel guests began reporting low water pressure and dark, murky water with a foul taste pouring from their faucets. A maintenance worker investigated the roof, turning off the building's security alarms to check the 4 1,000-gallon water tanks. Inside one of the tanks, he found Elisa Lam floating face up. Accessing the tanks required navigating an exterior fire escape, climbing to the roof, and scaling a final ladder to reach the heavy metal lids. This difficult physical journey suggested that Elisa could not have reached the tanks alone, fueling theories that she had been murdered. The Cecil Hotel's history as a site of frequent suicides and violence made these violent theories feel plausible to the public. At different times, serial killers Richard Ramirez and Jack Unterweger had both called the hotel home. This reputation acted as a psychological amplifier, leading internet detectives to overlook medical facts in favor of a more sinister explanation. Months after the discovery, the LA County coroner released an official report that moved the narrative away from conspiracy and toward medical science. Pathologists found no physical trauma, no evidence of sexual assault, and no illegal drugs in Elisa's system. Elisa had a history of severe bipolar disorder and depression, for which she was prescribed 4 different medications. Toxicology tests found only trace amounts of these medications in her blood. In her room, police found prescription bottles that still held most of their pills. The coroner ruled the death an accidental drowning, citing bipolar disorder as a significant factor in her behavior. This medical context explains why hotel staff had recently moved Elisa to a private room after she locked her roommates out and left them hostile notes. Terrifying hallucinations likely drove her behavior in the elevator, where she inadvertently held the doors open while mashing the buttons. Elisa had documented these same struggles on her Tumblr blog, Etherfields, where she wrote about her paranoia and the difficulty of managing her illness. While millions of amateur detectives searched for a monster in the shadows, Elisa was fighting a losing, invisible battle against her own mind.